Yo, hey guys, it's poppin', Jacques Slade here. Back with another unboxing, and today, as you can see, we're doubling up. We got two for you guys. This is the new Jordan Zion 1, and I got two colorways that I wanna show you guys. So without further ado, let's mix them up a little bit and see which one we're gonna start with. Let's start with this one. Well, first things first about the Zion situation is, this is the first shoe for Zion, the Zion 1. It's kind of Jordan Brand's Gen Z athlete. I shouldn't even say kind of Jordan Brand's Gen Z athlete. He is Jordan Brand's Gen Z athlete. He represents a new era for Jordan Brand. He represents the next generation. And so a lot of that sort of thinking and philosophy is what went into this shoe. And you can also kind of see a little bit of Zion's personality being reflected in some of the product and some of this that they're doing right here. So first of all, let's just start off with the box. As you can see, it's honestly pretty plain and pretty simple. There's really not much to it. It has Zion Williamson Jumpman in really small print over here, but then you have the larger Zion logo right here, which actually goes back and forth just in black and white. There's nothing fancy about the box. Let's get into the kicks, because that's what you are here for. So this colorway is the Marion colorway. This is the first colorway that he's doing for his mother, but it's gonna be the last colorway that's dropping in this first pack of shoes that are dropping. Tissue paper has Zion logo there, but then the shoes are actually really nice. Now, this is a pair that I've actually been wearing around today. I tried to clean them up and make them look nice again, but this is the pair that I was wearing. And there's a lot of detail you can see on this shoe that I think really speaks to where things are gonna go with Zion and what the shoe is gonna be about. First things first, the shoes are 120 bucks, which is incredible. It's awesome. I think that $120 price point, hopefully it can stay there for a long time, because that makes it a little more affordable to people. Generally, when you see a signature shoe, the price is $130, $140, $150, $160, $170, depending on who you are. So at $120, this is a great price point, and hopefully Jordan Brand does enough to keep that price there. And I know that means a sacrifice to the technology in the shoe, but I'd rather see the shoe be affordable and be able to inspire the generation than to be super affordable that have all this crazy tech inside of it. But anyway, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, let's just talk about the shoe. My first thoughts is the shoe is actually pretty light. It's not like crazy light, but it's definitely not as heavy as I thought it was going to be. Thinking of a player like Zion, you think the shoe needs to be big, you think it needs to be bulky, but that's not the situation here. These are pretty lightweight for the most part. There's a lot of breathing on the shoe, and when I say that, I mean there's a lot of like airways and pathways for air to get out of the shoe. For instance, here on the toe box, you see that there's a mesh layer here for breathability. There's a thin like a ripstop layer here for breathability. You have that mesh netting here as well on the side. And then actually on the tongue, there's holes on the tongue as well where you can get some air in. There's one here down at the bottom right there, and then there's also one in the middle section there to add a little bit of breathability to let air escape from the shoe. So if Zion ever has problems or if his feet get hot inside the shoe, you have that air space or this place for the air to blow or to breathe in and out there. Now, speaking of the tongue with those holes in the tongue, something that Zion brought up when he was getting his shoe made was that he liked the tongue. It's not typically the place that you start when it comes to a sneaker, but that's where he wanted to start, and he wanted this to feel like a bit of armor. So the tongue has quite a bit of padding. It has this like thin layer around the edges, but then there's padding here on the rest of the tongue, and that kind of goes down through the middle. It serves a little bit as a barrier between your shoe and the laces. I mean, between your foot and the laces as well. So you have several bumps. You have one bump there, one bump here. It adds a little bit of protection there to keep your foot from getting those hot spots. And maybe that's an issue that Zion had. He had some hot spots with his sneaker. And so that's where this tongue kind of came into play. But he said that the Air Jordan 3 was the shoe that really inspired him for this type of tongue. And so you see how big the tongue is, obviously sort of like the Air Jordan 3 where they have that big tongue on there as well. Now, Looking at the front of the shoe, we get a little bit of protection here. So you get a reinforced area here at the toe, and you get some more reinforcement here for a player like Zion that's his size, that's going from someone that's down in the post to someone that's bringing the ball down. Having that reinforcement is obviously going to be super important because the shoes need to be sturdy, but they also need to be agile and flexible as well. And you get that with this shoe. It kind of reminds me on the lifestyle side of things, and this is a bit of a tangent, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the John Elliott sneakers. It kind of has a John Elliott vibe now that I look at it, but again, I'll get back to that later. But anyway, speaking about the flexibility, you see you have a lot of flexibility in these. These aren't super stiff at all. You have some nice padding here, nice foam here. I believe it's just EVA foam that you have here. There's also reinforcement here on the laces. So you see here, the laces have this silver reinforcement area that's also being reinforced here around the heel cup. The heel cup is nice and sturdy. It's not like super hard, but it's firm enough to kind of keep your foot planted on the inside. I actually tried these on earlier, and they're actually really comfortable. There's not a lot of technology going on with these shoes. You have air here in the forefoot, not a lot, but there's some there in the forefoot, and it's kind of right under like the ball of your foot, like that plane that's right under the ball of your foot. That's where you'll get some air here, but the rest of it is really, you're just playing on top of foam, and it doesn't feel bad at all. But that's also where you get that $120 price tag, because we're not going crazy with the technology, which I think is a bonus. Zion is obviously a big part of his family, and his family means a lot to him. So you see a lot of those sort of hints and touches inside of his shoe. So you have ZW, obviously, for Zion Williams there on this pair. You have the Jumpman logo, but it's on the outsole where you really see things come together. It has Spartanburg, it has Jonathan Flow, and then it has Town, Durham, which are all three places that really mean something to Zion and where he came from. You also have Shock the World here, which is something that he wrote down, or something that he wrote on Twitter years ago. His parents took him to a tournament, and his stepdad inspired him to write Shock the World on his Twitter, and so that kind of became a part of his messaging, and you see it on the shoe there. And then you also have Let's Dance, obviously, which is a big thing when it comes to basketball. Everybody's like, let's dance when it comes times when it gets serious, when it's time to play. Now, there's also some names here. There's his mom's name, Sharonda. And by the way, this colorway is inspired by his mother. She was his first basketball coach, and that's where you get the pink here. It's inspired by the lotus flower, which obviously grows out of the mud, and it's inspiring. And so this colorway is representative of her. It's not called Mother or anything like that. It's called Marion, which is where that first team was when he was being coached by his mom, who again was the hardest coach he's ever had, which is quite a thing to say considering he's had some real class Hall of Fame coaches in his super young career so far. But yeah, so this is the Marion colorway. This one is dropping on May 26th for $120, but the main colorway, the one that everybody will be dropping first, is this colorway, and this is the Generation Z colorway. This is an example of what he meant by, I want the shoe to look basic at first and let it be dope from a basic point of view, and then we can start adding on all the extras to it. So you see, again, it has the big Z logo there for Zion, which they're going super heavy with. I get it, it's the Z, he keeps the Z in his hair, and you gotta have it there on the shoes, but hopefully that doesn't lead the creative for Zion's shoes over the next couple of years. Like I love that they're incorporating that into his product, but I just hope it doesn't define his product, which is a totally different conversation. This colorway is probably, I would say, one of my favorites so far, just because it's plain and it's simple, but it has the touches of gold, which make it look nice as well. Obviously, you have the Zion here along the collar, which is nice and plush to keep you locked in there. I tried these on. The collar feels great. The padding feels great. They are a little bit wide here at the toe, which I personally like. So that's something that I prefer as opposed to a very narrow sneaker. So I would say go true to size if you're going to pick these up. I'm usually an 11 or 11 and a half, and these are an 11, and they fit just right. Like, these are perfect. I wouldn't change anything about the way that these fit. Interestingly, I did, just some dribbling drills while wearing these, and something that you really notice and that's really pronounced in like your transition from the right to the left is this outrigger, which is on the right side of the shoe or the lateral side of the shoe. It gives, I would say, a little bit of extra reinforcement for that transition when you transition to the outside. This adds that extra stability to keep you locked in. Now, there isn't as much of an outrigger here on the medial side, but there is enough there. So during that transition, whether you're crossing somebody over, you do have that grip. So when that crossover comes and you kind of roll over the top of your foot as you're going back across, you have that there to add that extra stability for you as well. As far as the outsole goes, the rubber feels great. I don't see this being a problem. Obviously, this is going to be better indoors than it would be outdoors, but I don't see you having a problem with either one of those. I think these are definitely going to perform in either one of those arenas where you try these on. But yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys just a quick first look. I obviously haven't actually played ball in these, but from the time that I've had them on feet, I like the way that they look on feet. The top down actually looks really nice as well. You see them from the side here, and just doing a little bit of like running around in the house and running around in the backyard. I think we have a winner with these. I like the direction that they're going with Zion. They didn't do anything super crazy. They didn't go super teched out. And I think that what they're trying to do is establish really a baseline for Zion, establish where they want people to see him and how he wants to be seen. And this shoe is a great introduction for him, I believe. I believe this shoe is going to set a precedent for what we expect from Zion and what we get from Zion. So let me know what you guys think. This is the Generation Z or Generation Zion colorway. And then you have the colorway that I've worn already. This is the Marion colorway. This is May 26th. These drop on April 23rd. Again, $120 a piece if you want to get yourself a pair. As always, I'm Jacques Slade. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the Zion 1 from Zion Williamson and Jordan Brand. And as always, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
It's one of those things where, look at my mom, look at my brother, my older brother, look at my stepfather, especially my stepfather. I just kind of go to him, my mom, and just say thank you. Like, all those countless hours in the gym, all those dreams, all the wins, all the losses, the crazy journey, moving a lot. They saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And I'm forever grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. Like I said, at any point, maybe I could have been in a different situation where maybe I wasn't playing basketball, or maybe I would have gave up on it, but they stuck with me, and I'm forever grateful for that.